guys, how's it going? I'm here by myself today. The boys are at school and Drew's at work. Last night he wanted to record a solo, so I just went for a walk through Walmart just to let him have his space to be able to do that. Sometimes when we're doing our solos, it's much easier to be on our own. Then I got home and realized that he did his history when that was going to be our next duo episode. That being said, I was a little butthurt, but he did good and I was so proud of him. So here I am. This is probably going to be one of the toughest. I'm going to try to get through it very quickly. It is going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I'll make it through. I don't know anything. So I'm just going to wing it and hope for the best. I hope you guys are all having a good day. I see it's very sunny outside and it's super exciting. I was able to walk my little guy to the bus this morning, so I was so proud of myself for that. Normally drive him. Yeah, and I'm going to pick him up at the bus today again, so that's super exciting for me. I know it's just minor, but unfortunately, due to the circumstances, I have zero drive, so it's a good step forward. It felt good to get fresh air, and it's nice out, so it made a big difference. Yeah, so here I am. History. History's a scary word. As Drew mentioned in his video, everybody has a history. Everybody has a story. It's not something I like to share. It's something that I've always hid. Even just today, it took a lot of convincing, a lot of inner talking, inner communicating. I had to make sure that everybody was on board. As mentioned before, I have little ones. One in particular that is very sensitive to this subject. We call her Lissa. She has made quite a few visual appearances to me. In high times of stress, she's there. This may be one of them. I'm nervous, not gonna lie. But I got this. I got this. This is a big step for me. I'm not one, again, to talk about this stuff, but it has led me here. So it's time. It's time to get my story heard and get it out there. I'm going to be completely honest. There's going to be a lot of stuff that people are unaware of, that people are going to be surprised of, including Drew potentially. So be prepared for that. Be ready. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for pity. I am simply getting my story out there for my sake. I need to do this for me, and this is the best way to do it, I think. As mentioned before, completing these videos and episodes and sharing our story has been very therapeutic for both of us. So I feel that this is very important, not only for me, but for all my loves inside. They have suffered. They have taken all my pain. They have taken everything from me. So it's important for me to get that out for them. This is my way of dealing with them and helping them get past everything. So again, due to the D.I.D, everybody seems to be on board with this. However, there's going to be some stuff that aren't going to be fully, I'm not going to know ages, I'm not going to know dates. It's simply flashbacks of what has happened, and I'm not going to have all the details, so some of it might not even make sense to some people. As time goes on, I'm hoping that things start to make sense to us and make sense to everybody else. But right now, I just have events. I have events, not full details. Again, ages are going to be a very complicated thing. I don't have very much recollection, so it's literally going to be on what I can remember to this day. Moving forward, I'll be able to share more with you as I progress and gain more information. and I'm excited to share that with you guys. Again, this is going to be one of the toughest, so bear with me if I say a lot. If I look away a lot, you may see a lot of switches in this video. If you do, please comment below. And before I start, actually, I want to thank everybody. We hit 500. We're actually at almost 530 or more, actually, views on our videos. So keep them coming. We appreciate it. More feedback would be great. And if you guys have any suggestions or questions, or you guys want to see something, please comment below. Let us know what you want to see, what you want from us, or what you would like us to do, or if there's any suggestions to how our video is recorded or whatnot. Right now we don't have the best camera. We've been using the phone and this one. Lighting is it's decent this time. At night is a little trickier. We do have really high ceilings in here, so it kind of opens it up, which is good. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And when you subscribe, it should send you notifications when we do record new videos and post them. So don't hesitate. If you have negative feedback, don't hesitate. If you have concerns, I don't recommend sharing this with your kids. There's going to be a lot of information that, yeah, I was a kid, but other kids should not be hearing this or seeing this. So I ensure that I don't record these episodes when my kids are at home, because yeah, I don't want them to know the details. So that being said, I'm gonna start off now. I came from a broken family. My dad and my mom separated. I think I was not even one yet. I did spend a few years, I believe, in well, we'll start with I was a 3-month premature baby. I was only 4 pounds when I was born, so I was in and out of sick kids. When I was a baby, I had a heart murmur. Yeah, I was very sick, very, very sick. Back in the day, people smoked in their houses. People smoked when they were pregnant. Kudos to me. I quit smoking both pregnancies, completely cold turkey. I was so proud of myself, and I still am to this day. Like, that's huge for me. So I had severe asthma as a child as well. My mom smoked throughout the pregnancy. She smoked afterwards. I still remember. Like, I couldn't do gym at school. I couldn't. It was bad. I had severe asthma. I slept with, or I always had a breathing mask and stuff, and a machine with me, and yeah, it was bad. That's just minor, but it's just something that I recall as a child, that things are different nowadays than they were back then. So yeah, I know to sick kids as a child. I was always a very petite girl. That's about all I remember from that. Anyways, so my parents separated. My mom always painted a bad picture of my dad. I never really wanted to get to know my dad. My visitations were very limited. I do recall at very young ages. These are just events I remember. Remember that, okay, guys? So don't try to put the pieces together, because it's not going to fully make sense because of the timelines. I don't know how old I was or anything. So my house as a child was a party house. My mom and stepdad liked to party. They both had drinking problems. My mom was a heavy rye drinker, and when she drinks, and to be completely fair, she still drinks to this day. She is an alcoholic, and when she drinks, she gets very loud and obnoxious and scary. I remember waking up as a child and her being over the toilet puking, and this happened all the time. And I would try to take care of her, and then I would go back to bed because she would get angry with me. So I would go back to bed, and then I would wake up in the morning and find her passed out in the bathtub or on the kitchen table or anywhere, really. And people everywhere in my house, like, all the time. There was always fights. We were always left with babysitters, always. because they gambled a lot as well. They were always gone to bingo, and back then there was like even later bingos than there is now, so they would be gone all night sometimes, and we were left with babysitters until my brother was old enough to watch me. I remember at times we were not bad kids. Well, I wasn't a bad kid. I don't really remember too much about my brother. I was a very good kid. I was a mommy's girl. I was stuck to my mom. Like, I'm going to struggle with this because my mom was... I'll get through it. I'll explain more. Sorry. I was a good kid. I was just very sick all the time. And I remember she would lock us in our rooms and take our door handles off. For the minorest reasons. Like, me and my brother were arguing or something, and we would get locked in our room for hours and hours and hours. Like, we couldn't pee. It was cruel. It was cruel. No door handles. Back then we were too little to know how to open the door without a door handle. Now I know how because I've learned over the years. I want to make it clear that my mom suffers from severe mental disorders, and I'm not trashing her in any way. I'm simply giving my history as a child and my history growing up, so that you guys are aware. She is her own person, I am my own person, and I suffer from D.I.D, from childhood trauma. So this is why I'm bringing this to you guys, okay? So I want to make that clear. I am not trashing her in any way because she's her own person. I can't control who she is. I can't control the choices that she made. I can't control anything. So that being said, just keep that in mind as I'm talking, okay? Because a lot of this is going to be revolved around my mother. My stepdad worked out of town a lot. He worked for the Ministry of Natural Resources, so he was on the road a lot for the fire crew. So she had a drinking problem. She would get mean, aggressive. She would fight all the time. She yells all the time. I remember being a kid, just little, and she just couldn't have a normal conversation. She would always yell. I would never want to have friends over because of it. Like, she was just mean. We were home alone all the time when my brother was old enough to watch me, and then I have memories of being yelled at and spanked so bad. Called names at a very young age. Swore at. Got to the point where I would say I was probably 5 or 6. I would just run to my room and cry. I remember I would sit in my laundry basket and just hold myself like this and cry and rock back and forth. Sometimes for hours, just lose consciousness of what was going on. I was so scared at times. And so little. So little. I took a number of beatings. It's harsh. I don't wish that upon any child. Alcoholism is evil. Evil. So again, Drew mentioned in his video last night that we don't drink at all. We don't do drugs at all. We've quit smoking. We still utilize the e-cigarette, but we're complete sober other than our medications, day-to-day medications. So that's part of the reason why I don't drink, it scares me. I went through a phase of drinking, and I'll get to that. Not so much drinking, I guess, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm just going to go through my childhood events that I can recall. Something as simple as I remember driving down this back road. I think it was a Thunderbird or something. And my mom driving so fast that I thought I was going to die. I don't even remember why. And I remember her drinking and driving with us in the car. Again, that was a normal for back in the day. She just didn't know how to be a parent. I remember going without food. I remember she would borrow money for food and then go to bingo or go drinking. I remember Christmas. I remember some Christmases she couldn't buy us gifts. She was always out partying. She couldn't buy us gifts, and then we woke up one Christmas and there was all these gifts on our step outside wrapped up, no names, not from who, not anything. It was the best Christmas. I remember, I think I got like a baby alive or something. The hardest part for me is knowing that all the family members, the community, everybody knew what we went through. But we were too little. I was too little to know different. Anyways, this might be a long video. I was sexually abused as well as a child. I'm currently dealing with that in therapy, so that's something I'm not going to fully touch on at a very young age. One of my alters took that pain for me, never made me actually feel it, never made me know it, which made me able to continue a relationship with those people. Again, I'll get back to that later on once I'm ready to. I'm not ready to fully deal with that yet. It's scary to know that I carried relationship for that long. And again, that's not because of me, that's because it was held by somebody else and someone else had to experience for me. That being said, it's been a struggle for me dealing with that. It was one of the closest people to me. So it's gonna take time. That one's gonna be a tough one. So anyways, as I'm gonna say that my personality split, I would say probably around the ages of 6, 7. I recall being in my room probably around that age, and talking with them. Almost like losing sight of time. So that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to gain back that time, but that's a long time ago. Like, I'm 32 years old now, so I'm going back a long time to try to gain back that. I would lose sight of time. I would lose sight of... So I remember being about 7 years old and I was going sliding with my friends. It was winter. I think it was just with my neighbor and my cousin at the time. And we were going sliding, and there was these older teenage boys, and we were young. We were really young. The sliding hill was right across the road from my house. there was these teenage boys that had knives, and they were threatening to kill me and chased me with knives. There were 3 of them. And I never understood why. I was so little. They didn't go after my neighbor or my cousin. It was literally just me. And I know who they are. I remember it was like I was older, probably like 13 or 14. I ended up seeing these people at school, and I put the pieces together. But I totally forgot that event had happened. So I didn't understand, how do you forget something like that? In elementary school, I always had a counselor. I was always in and out of, I wouldn't say a counselor, but like my teachers knew that there was issues at home. And I remember crying one day at school, and my teacher bringing me in to talk to me one-on-one, and I couldn't stop crying because I had realized that those older teenagers were actually my cousins, and that scared the shit out of me, and I still to this day don't know why they did it. And I remember my mom telling me, like, just fucking get over it, like, who fucking cares, like, they didn't stab you, and like, she was so mean about it, and I really didn't understand it. Those cousins were in and out of jail at the time, and they were, I didn't really get to know them very well. They weren't family orientated, I guess you could say. But I'm really hoping that someday I can, come to terms with that and understand it. Because it's very odd. So with the mental abuse, the physical abuse, I would say that the sexual abuse, I also had a neighbor growing up who had older sisters, and I believe he was my age or a year older. And I used to always be at his house because his mom used to treat me so good. And there was a time where he also inappropriately touched me. And it was every time I went to his house until his mom had come in and put a stop to it. So this is just literally coming to light throughout the past 4 months or so. All these different events that have happened, it's coming back, and it almost haunts me, but at the same time, like, I feel so sorry for everybody inside of me for having to go through that, because I took the back seat in those times, and I didn't have to experience it. I'm very fortunate and thankful that they did not make me ever experience those feelings. They were created for that reason, to protect me from the physical, the mental, the sexual abuse, the verbal abuse. I remember it's horrible, but just being smacked across the head for no reason, or so mean. So mean. I hate alcohol. I hate it. 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 Sorry. Fucking hate it. Ugh. Anyways, so I don't remember this, but this was reminded to me as there was one time I went to my dad's house, and my dad and stepmom have been together since we were babies. Since I was a baby. So I didn't have a very good relationship with them because, like, my mom never allowed it unless she needed them. Then we would go there. So I was told this story that one time I was just little and I spilt milk when I was at their house, and I went to my room and I was super upset, and I don't remember this. This is one of those events that I've lost memory of. So when you have D.I.D, it's called dissociative dissociative amnesia. The memories will eventually come back, hopefully. Not necessarily though. So I spilt milk, and I guess I went to to Becky's room, which is my ears itchy, which is my sister, and I was crying, and I pulled my pants down. I told them to spank me. Just little. They were so heartbroken. So heartbroken. The way they explain it to me, it just breaks my heart that happened. So growing up, I held a lot of resentment towards my dad and stepmom. Even as I got older, because they never took me from that. They made me stay there. Even though I was a mommy's girl, I was being abused. Nobody was doing anything about it. So I was in grade 6, and we moved out of the town that I grew up in. Again, don't mark my words on grade 6 because it's very vivid. And we moved to the city. I don't want to use names of where we're from or whatnot. So we moved to the city. My stepdad and my brother stayed where we were in the house that we were in, and it was just me and my mom that moved. I don't recall them breaking up. I don't recall. I have pictures of my grade 7 confirmation, I believe it was, or something like that. And we were all crying in the pictures. So I don't know why. I don't know what it was about. It could have been my grade 8 grad. I don't even remember. No, because I remember my grade 8 grad. Never mind. So, anyways, I don't remember them ever breaking up. The only thing I remember is not long after we moved, I remember my mom, this is when the internet had just I guess MSN or ICQ or something. It was just coming out. And I remember my stepdad and my mom fighting. He had came to visit us, and they were fighting, screaming and yelling, and she was losing her shit, losing it. Okay, so go back to my childhood. My mom has been suicidal my entire life, okay? So remember that, okay? So anyways, she was losing it, and he was bawling and crying, and it was I did not know what was going on. I didn't know they broke up. I didn't know anything. The only thing I remember is some guy, and I'm going to say the name because I don't give two fucks about it, because that name is impounded in my fucking head, and I need to get it out there. David Skullenberger. So she had met this guy on the internet from the United States or something. I don't know. He wasn't from Canada. That's all I know. And she gave him our address and told him to come to Canada and visit us. She invited him here. The day that he apparently was coming, she decided to go to bingo or drinking or something. And my stepdad wasn't there. He was still living in our old house. So, I was by myself, and I had my sister Becky over. She's my stepsister. So she was over with me, and my mother never told me this guy was coming. I was just young. I think I was in grade 6 or 7. And I remember it was 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. And this guy kept calling. He just kept calling. So I kept picking up and telling him to stop calling and calling and calling. Anyways, then all of a sudden he shows up at our house. And I'm fucking scared. Okay, I am petrified. I don't know who this guy is. What the fuck? I don't know how to get a hold of my mom. There was no cell phones back then. We didn't have cell phones. I didn't know if she was at the bingo. I didn't know if she was drinking. I didn't know fuck all. All I knew was this fucking guy is pounding on my door. Okay? like pounding on the door, like, let me in the fucking house, hitting the windows. Like, it was scary as fuck. So I called the cops. I'm just little, okay? I call the cops. My sister's freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know what to do. We're a mess. So I call the cops. I call 911. They just keep me on the phone. They're telling me to yell shit to this guy. Like, if the cops are on the phone, leave. The cops are on the way. You need to go. He's not fucking leaving. So the cops show up. And he must have heard the sirens or seen the sirens or something, because he was gone. All of a sudden, he was gone. Like, gone. What the fuck? Now the cops think we're mental. So the cops come, and then my mom shows up. All casually. What the fuck's going on? Really? What's going on? You fucking idiot. You don't leave two fucking kids home alone and go out and do your fucking stupid thing. I apologize. This makes me so fucking angry, because I slept with a cast iron frying pan and a billy bat for probably 8 years after this. I could not fucking sleep. I was traumatized. I was a child. I couldn't be alone. I couldn't shut the door to go to the bathroom. I couldn't. Anyways, we moved from that house not long after that, because I couldn't be there anymore. I don't understand, okay? Nowadays, oh, I don't want to touch it. You know what? I'm going to skip that. Anyway, so then we moved. By this time, my mom and stepdad have separated. She's now dating some other guy. So she started dating some other guy. Never heard about this David Skullenberger guy again. Never did talk about it again. I just remember, okay. Actually, it was before we moved. So the suicidal attempts by my mother got 10 times stronger. I would get home from school, and there'd be blood everywhere. Or she'd be wrapped up in cloths and covered in blood. Knife on the counter covered in blood. Like, just fucking stupid. I think I was in grade 6 at this time. Grade 6, okay? I had to take care of my mom, because it's just me and her. We're the only ones who live there. My brother ended up moving in with his best friend to finish high school. So I would get home from school, and this would happen. And then I'd be like, what the fuck? And then, not what the fuck, because I was young. But I would be a mess. I would be crying, trying to take care of my mom, being like, Mom, like, it's okay. Don't kill yourself. Like, I need you. Blah, blah. Like, I was a mommy's girl, as I say, okay? So I would have to take care of her at a very young age. This started even younger, when she was drinking, and, like, I was very, very young, having to take care of my mom. Sorry. I started smoking cigarettes in grade 6. I know I'm going off topic here. So I was stealing them from my mom. I would steal her grade 6, okay, alcohol, and I would bring it to school, and I would drink it at recess, just to ease the pain of knowing that I could go home and find my mom dead. I remember one time I was walking home from school with all my friends. There was probably like 6 of us, and she was driving somewhere, and she seen me, so she pulled over to tell me that she was going somewhere. So we all go to the window of the car and get to the window of the car, and she's covered in anyways. So I got this. So I had to take care of my mom at a very young age. And I don't wish that upon anybody. I never got to be a child. If you guys know what Fireball is, so as mentioned before, she was a whiskey drinker, so any kind of whiskey was in the house at all times. So she used to have all these like little whiskey bottles all over the house, and I used to take them and drink know how old you are, grade 6, but because I never knew what I was gonna walk into. My son's home now, so I'm gonna go skip end this, and I'm gonna finish part 2 later. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry this has been a tough one. I will be back with part 2, okay? Have a good day, guys.